Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to discuss about the server-side events, and we are going to implement the same using the NextJS on the front-end side and the FastApi on the back-end side. So let's get started. So before I move to the coding part, I want to discuss about how a front-end application can communicate to the back-end application and a back-end application can communicate to the front-end application. So what happens when you open a website in the browser? So as soon as you open the website in the browser, right? Your front-end application makes a API call to the backend service to get some data, and in response, your backend service sends some data to the UI, and then UI renders those data and displays you the page. In this request and response, we are using the HTTP protocol. So this is the HTTP request, and this is going to be HTTP response. So now you understand the request and response cycle. Let's talk about one scenario. So basically, you have a backend service. Now I'm just going to add another layer here, and that is going to be your background job, right? And let me change the color of this one. Yeah, this is your background job, and this background job is basically communicate to your database. So you have a database here, right? This is your database, and your database is connected to your backend service as well as your background job. Let me put another arrow here for the background job. And how your background job is triggered. So basically, it can be triggered from your backend service, or it can be scheduled. So let's say this is there is another possibility of scheduling. So your background job can get triggered I mean at a particular time, or it can get triggered from the backend, right? And let's say this you are working on an analytics application, and user can request to generate a report from the UI. So when the user makes a request to generate a report, so let's say this is a request to generate report, you will say here generate report, right? And now this backend, what this backend service will do, backend service will trigger this background job, and it will send a response to the user that request has been accepted. And in the background, this service will generate the report and will put the URL and all in the database, right? Let's say this process takes 7 minutes, right? And after 7 minutes, your report is generated and all the data is here, and your file is let's say kept in AWS S3 or some other places similar to that. Now, if I talk about this front end service, right? This doesn't know that report is ready. So there are a couple of ways that you can check these things. One, you can create a polling request. So you can say to the front end here, is the report ready? And you can make this every 10 seconds, right? So every 10 seconds you are saying, is this a report ready or not? You will pass the report ID and all in the response here. When it says right request accepted, it will send you the report ID. And here when you check the report is ready using this report ID, or you can say request ID, you can check if this is ready or not. And if this is ready, then what this backend will do, backend server will send you the URL to download the report. So you will get either in progress if it's not ready, or you will get the report URL. Okay, so this is one way to do this, right? And let's say if it's taking 7 minutes, right? So for every minute you are sending 6 requests, and for 7 minutes it is going to be 56 requests. So out of 56 requests you are going to get the URL only in last request. So all your 55 requests are wasted. So you are making extra calls to this backend service, and this is not a good way to do this. So let's talk about how can we make this scenario better. So in this case, what we can do, if we can figure out a way to send a request from backend to the frontend once this report is ready, right? In that way, we have to send only one request from backend to the frontend, and that request is going to contain the report URL. And now, using that report URL, frontend can download the report, and the frontend doesn't have to make, let's say, in this scenario, 55 extra requests to check if the report is ready or not. So we need only one request to notify the front end that the report is ready, and this can be achieved using two type of connection. One is the WebSocket connection, and another one is the HTTP connection itself with some custom headers. And we can send this those events from the backend to front end, and those events are called server side events. So as I said, one way is the WebSocket. I'm not going to talk about the WebSocket in this video. And another way is the server side events. So for this server side events, right, there has to be a connection established between frontend and backend, and this connection is initiated by the frontend itself. So what will happen when you send a request to generate report, right? You will send another HTTP request to the backend, and in that request header, you are going to set custom couple of header, not custom. One is content type, and that is going to be text slash event hyphen stream, and another one is you are going to set the connection, and you are going to say keep alive, and you are going to also set cache control to no cache so that you don't cache any data that is sent from the backend. And once you send this request to the backend, right, this connection is not going to get destroyed automatically. So this connection will be alive. And now since the front end has sent this request, front end cannot make any uh, front end will not make any further request. Now since the connection is alive, backend can send event to the front end, and front end will subscribe to those events. So in our scenario, if I talk about, you have sent the generate report, also you have established this connection. Now once the report is ready, right, your backend will check that now the report is ready, and it will send an event to the front end that report is ready, and here is the URL. And once this front end receives that the URL, and also receives that report is ready, right, then what it is going to do, it is going to destroy this HTTP keep alive connection. And using that, front end doesn't have to make 55 additional calls to check if the report is ready or not. Only one event has to be sent from the backend to the front end to tell front end that report is ready. So we are going to in this video tutorial, we are going to implement this server side events. So let's see that in action. So here I am in Visual Studio Code. Currently you can see there is nothing inside this. So I'm just going to install the NextJS application, and for that I will say npx create next app at latest, and this is I'm going to say front end. This is going to be the front end application. So let's say no. So this application is set up now. I'm going to create another folder, and this is going to be backend, and in the backend I will create a file called requirements.txt. Here I will put couple of imports, and one is the FastApi and UV icon for running the FastApi server, and I'm going to use the server side event starlet library. Okay, so once this is done, let's go to the backend application, and here I will create a virtual environment by saying python 3 hyphen m venv and venv. Let's activate this, and then we can say pip install hyphen r requirement.txt. So now I have installed all the requirements, I mean all the dependencies that I required for this project. So let's create the main.py, and in the main.py what I'm going to do, I'm going to import from FastApi, import FastApi, and then I'm going to create the app by saying app equals to FastApi. I will also, since I'm going to use the front end, right, I will need to also use the chorus middleware. So I will say from FastApi dot middleware dot course import course middleware. Okay, and here I will say origins, and this is going to be array, and okay, this is suggesting too many. I can remove this. I just need this, and let me also put 127.0.0.1 and another one just localhost, and then I can say app.add middleware, and here I can say allow origins and these other configurations. So now my course is also set. Let me create a root URL, and I will say app.get, and this is our root URL. So let's check if this application is running. So for that we can say uvi corn main colon app. So this application is running now, and if I open this browser, okay, so this is opening on another window. Let me bring it here, so I can put it here. You can see that message equals to hello world. That means our application is working. For the event, I'm going to create another file here, and this I'm going to call events.py. And in this event.py, I will create the event class. So basically, I'm just going to create, this is going to be event model, and in this, basically, let me import from pydantic import base model. So this is going to extend the base model of pydantic, and this, I mean, the event that I want to send, right, this is going to contain two things only, a type, and this is going to be a string, and then I'm going to send the message. This is again going to be a str. You can send any data type that you want, basically, because text slash stream supports the text streaming, so you can send any text, but for the display purpose, for the tutorial purpose, I'm just going to use this one. Okay, so pydantic, basically, yeah. So this is my event model. Now I'm just going to create a class also, where I can store all the events that is sent. You can use any queue or any other services, but I'm just going to use this one. So I will say class, and I will say SSE event, and here I will basically use a queue. So I can say events events, and this events is going to be an list, not list. Let me use the queue here. So I can say from collections import dq. So this is going to be a dq, and then I will create a couple of basically static method, and I will say def add event, and this is going to accept the event, and this event is going to be this event model. And once I receive this, I'm just going to say the SSE event dot append this event. So this is my basically queue, and I'm just going to append the event whenever I need to send another event. Okay, and after that I will also create a method, and that is going to be def get event basically. And this is my static method, so I need the decorator. I can say static method, and this is also going to be a static method. So static method, and here I can check if length of SSE events greater than 0, then I can say SSE event pop left. In other case I can just return none. Okay, whenever there is no event I will just return none. I will also create a method to basically, you can also use this method to clear the event, but I don't want to use it. I will use another static method to get the count of the event. So I will say def count, and this is going to be the basically return the length, I mean the count of the event that we currently have. I will return this in response, so that's why I have created here. And if I go to this, now I will create a API to add the event. So I will say async def create, or you can say new event, and let me import that. So from events import SSE event, and also import event model. So when we receive this request, right, we are going to get the event like this event model, and this is going to be a post request. So we can say post, and we can say slash emit, and in this one what we can do, we can say SSE events dot add event. So this is going to be added into that list, and we can return a response, and in this response we can say event added. Also we can say count is going to be SSE event dot count. All right, now we have a method that can be used to add the event uh, into the event queue that we have created. Right now we need to create a URL to steam the event, and for that we can say app dot get, and we can say slash stream. So using this URL we can stream this event, and we can say async def, and then we can say stream events, and this is suggesting basically. So this is correct. So we can also import async IO, and for once we stream one event, right, I just want it to basically sleep for a couple of seconds. So I can say once event is basically streamed, I will say await and sleep for 1 second. And using this basically we can steam the event, but I want to actually do one more thing. I will say request, and this is request is going to be the request that we get from this FastApi. Request, and here what I'll say, here I will say if request basically is disconnected. If the request is disconnected, then we are going to say print SSE disconnected, and we are going to return from here. So let's say due to some reason if this request is disconnected, right, we don't want to get the event, we don't want to remove the event from this event array, because here we are using the pop, right? So if we fetch the event, that is gone. So if disconnected, we are not going to call this, so that our event is stored in the queue. And for yield, right, here if we send the event directly like this, so this is not basically going to send the event, because it has to be send something like, let's say, data and then your data. So for this we can use format, and format we can use our event. And for the event we can say, since we need to send the JSON string, right, so we can say model dot dump JSON. So this will give us a JSON string and we can pass the data here. So this is a generator expression. So for every event this will be sent to the front end, and after that basically let me actually put this in a function. We can say stream generator, and using this will generate the stream, and we need to send this stream. So for that what we can do, we can return, and we have used the basically SSE starlet, right? So we need to use that from SSE starlet import event source response. And here we can return event source response, and we can pass our stream generator. So this should be fine, I guess. Why this is showing an error, could not be resolved. STRLE this is correct. And here also event response generator, event source response. So this should be fine. And why this is giving an error is okay. So this is a async def, actually that's why we were getting that error. So this is fine now. So let's start the server. So we can say uvi con and the main colon app. Okay, this is not able to find this starlet. Okay, so I found the issue. So basically there were two issues that I missed. Basically this event source response, right? We are going to get this from SSE starlet.ssc. So this is the module from where we will get this class. And another issue was like, when you click on this, can you see this button? So your this interpreter should be exactly pointing to this virtual environment, not any other virtual environment. So for this, what you can do, you can basically go to this virtual environment. You can say venb bin, and now you are inside the binary folder. You can say pwd and copy this entire path, right? And once you have copied this path, you can click on this interpreter path, and after that paste the path here. Actually I have not copied, so let me copy this. And after pasting the path, you just type python here. So this will should be the this should be pointing to this python file or python 3 file basically. So type python here, it's all the same. So your interpreter should be pointing to this one, because you have installed the library here in this virtual environment, and if it points to any other virtual environment, right, this is not going to find this module. So these are the things that you should if you face this issue, you should check out. And now since we have corrected this import, and also we have corrected the interpreter path, we can start the application. So if I say let me go back. So here I can say uvi con hyphen main colon app. So now my application is started on this one. And if I go to the browser, right, and if I say here docs, you can see that I have a emit. So using this emit API, I can send some messages here, and using this Steam, right? So this is just going to return the Steam response, and we can frontend can subscribe to this one, and after backend has sent an event using this, right? we are going to get that data on the front end side. So let's build the front end now. So our backend is ready, and we need to now build the front end. So let me I will keep this running. I will create another terminal here, and I will go to the front end. Okay, so here I can say npm run dev, and my Next.js server is started now. So I can open the Next.js server here. Yes, this is running. So I'm not going to create any component here. I'm just going to display the message here. Uh, let me uh, update the component. So what I'll do, I'll go to this global.css. I will remove this styling, and I will leave the tailwind like that. And in the page, what I'll do, I will actually delete all the content except the main one. So I am from home page. We should be able to see this message, right? So this is our front end. Now I'm just going to write couple of things here in this file, and uh, one is I'm just going to make this a client component. So we don't need this image, so we can say import use state and use effect from React, and I will store all the messages. So I will say messages, set messages. Let me say use client. So now this is a client component, and you can see this is compiled successfully. I'm just going to keep all the messages that I receive in this array so that we don't lose that. And here I will use effect, and for that use effect, I'm just going to create the event source here. Okay, so I can say const SSE, and this is going to be new event source, and this is going to be http colon slash slash, and this will be localhost colon, and this is will be our backend server, and then stream. Here if you want to send the cookie and all, right, in actual scenario, basically what you will see, you will say with credentials too, so all the cookie and everything will be sent. And also if you want to send any header and all, you can send this to request, send this to the backend so that your backend request is authenticated. Okay, so I will just leave this like this. And once we have this SSE event, right, we can say SSE dot on message. Okay, so on message, basically we are going to receive this event, and we can we will receive this event. And before setting to that, let's print this. So console.log event dot data. So whatever data we get here, right, this is going to be console logged. So let's see that in the browser. And if I refresh this browser, let me open that this panel. So if I go to the console, if I refresh the browser, and let me go to the Python log, you can see this. This is disconnected actually. So this is being disconnected due to some reason. All right, so let me try to send one message. Okay, so if I click on this, if I say hello, I I am Kesari Nandan. I click on send. You can see the event added, and currently we have count 1. So this is the message that is sent on the backend side. And since our server side event is disconnected, our stream is disconnected, we are not able to receive that on the front end side. So let's see what happened. So let's go to our backend code. So basically, if I go to the backend code, let me minimize this. Let's see here we are creating the stream events and the request. So okay, all right. So basically, since this is a sync, right? So this request, since we are checking, this is also going to be await here, and instead of returning an empty response, we can break here and break the loop, and this is going to return the event source response. I think this should be fine. Uh, I think this was the main culprit here. So let me stop the server and start it again. And now you can see our server is running. And if I refresh the page, there is some error here on the front end side. But let me refresh the page. Okay, so there is no error in the console. Also, we can see here that this was okay, and now we don't see the disconnected message. That means the connection is successfully established. And if I click on this, right, uh, if I click on this again, we should see that event added and count will be 1 because we have restarted the server. So if I click on this, okay, you can see the count is 1, but again you can see the message that I have sent there. It's there on the in the console log. So if I say this hello again, you can see hello again. So now the connection is like alive, and whenever like we are sending a message on this event, right, what this is doing, this is adding this event into the queue, and instantly, since this is a live connection, this is checking if there is a connection. If there is a connection, this is popping out the connection, and then this is sending that back to the front end. So this is basically I mean the setup is working. Now I want to display this message on the front end side. So for that, if you see here, we have the data, right, and after that we have our JSON string. So we don't want this data. So to remove this data, basically what I'm going to do here, I can basically use. I can just remove that. I can just use the replace. Okay. So what I can do, I can say let's say const, and this will be data, and I can say equals to, I will use the JSON dot parse because we want the JSON data. And in this one, what I can say, event dot data dot replace, and in this replace I want to say data colon space. So whatever is, replace this term with empty string. So this is going to replace, and this is going to give me the clean data that I want as a JSON response, and then I can basically set this data. So now this will be set into this message array. So let's try one more time. So if I click on this execute, this is, we are still getting this data. So I think I have to refresh the page, and if I send this again, yeah, you can see if we are getting the object here. All right. So this is added in the array. Now I just want to style this one. So for that I have already prepared the code. Let me just copy and paste it here. So I will use the alert here. So you can see I will create a function, and here I'm just getting the type. If it's info, then I'm just going to use the blue color. In case of error, the color will be red, success green, and in case of warning, this is going to be yellow. And by default, this is going to display the gray one. And I will just use the ul and li here. Let me copy that code again, and this will be our new main here. So ul, inside this I'm just using the li. Okay, and that's it. So we are passing the type and we are passing the message, and in the alert, and this will return us this string. So I think this is it. So if I refresh the page, let me remove this, refresh the page, And if I go to this, let me break this into multiple tabs so that we can see. So this is our message. Now I will also let me minimize this. Yeah. So I will say this type is, let's me type the hello. So in case of hello, this is going to give us the gray one. So if I click execute, you can say hello, I am Kesari Nandan. If I say error, this would give us the red one. It's not applying the color. Let me inspect this. So you can see the color is applied, but I think the CSS is not loaded. That's why we don't see the error. But we don't care about the coloring and all, right? So whenever we send the message, you can see this is added instantly, and this is what we wanted to achieve here. And thank you so much for watching this entire video. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not yet subscribed, and like the video and share this with your friends so that they can also learn how to connect, how to use the server side events in their application. Thank you again, and I will see you in the next video.